Hey there, tubes. Here we are back in Bloke's basement. Took a little breather there, fired some guns off yesterday. It's always fun. A little stress reliever. Didn't shoot myself in the foot as some of you thought, but it's all good. I'm going to show you how to do a little repair. Remember we had a little boo-boo here with...
No, it's no boo-boo. I knew where it was.
Bloke knew where it was, but...
I knew where it was.
None of us, it was the guessing game, but on his vent. So you can see the vent has now been cut out, which is good. But we still got the bloke boo-boo there, so I'll show you a real quick way. Instead of some guys, they use paper tape and they'll try to fill that in, and then they use, or they'll use this fiberglass shit, which is only good for seams if they're inset. There's a bevel on these seams, so you can actually get a blade over it. If I show you on this, you can actually get a blade on it. See how that's got a little bit of an inset there. Don't use this in corners. It's not made for corners. You can't fold it properly. I've seen people try to use it in corners, but no, it doesn't work in corners. You can't get a nice sharp corner. But you can't use it there either, because what would happen is if you use it on that and you tried to fill that with compound, it would bubble, and then you'd never get it right. So I'll show you a real quick trick. So you go over here, just take a normal piece of 1/2-inch drywall, like that, and then what I normally do, should go over here on this one, well, is that I'll cut a little piece of it out. So I cut it a little bit bigger than the hole is actually. You can freehand it. You don't need it too accurate because, once again, you're going to compound it. So we don't need that big a piece. So we'll cut her down again, once again, like that. So you can see how that is. You know, some people, they try to put a backer in there and they want to screw this in and they want to tape it and everything else. If you notice, there's two parts to the drywall. There's the paper and then there's the drywall. What you can do is use this as your actual taping. So what I do is I go and I mark off. So I'll cut the back part, which is the darker brown one. I cut the back paper. See how I've scored it. I break it, and I just fold it like this, but I don't cut the front part like you normally would. I peel it back, get rid of the drywall, so you have paper there. So then, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of, oh, I gotta do the other side yet. So you do the other side, similar thing, break it off, score it at the brown part, score it. So now you got one corner. So you can kind of see how that will go in there. And you score that side there. So now, once you score that, same deal. Break it off. Don't cut it, peel it. See how that fits into there? Not too bad, like that. And then I'll score the other one, which will be there like that. So the end result is I got a little bit of a block to wedge in there. And she's still a wee bit big. If it's a bit big, what I normally do is I take, you don't want to cut this down anymore, but you can take a saw. Do we have a saw down here, bro?
Somewhere.
Wooden one. No wooden saw. Yeah, you can take it and cut it down a little bit more. So just cut it down a wee bit. Make sure you don't break the front part of the paper though, because you want to keep that part best you can, right? It's easier if you get it right the first time, but the bigger ones are much easier. So if somebody's punched a hole in the wall, once again, you know, if there's a hole punched, you just cut the square out, cut this size of the square. Well, so when you put it in the hole, basically the effect is this. So now you got that, there's your little patch. So you got your drywall in there, and you got your patch for paper. That's a little bit big. I'll cut that down once again. Good like that. And we're good. So for these and for the seams, any patching, I don't use pre-mixed drywall mix, CGC mix, because it takes a long time to dry and it shrinks a hell of a lot. What I do is, for this I'll use Sheetrock 45, which is, comes in a little bag here. The red red labeled one is the Sheetrock 45. You can't mix up a big bucket of this unless you're lightning speed fast at taping, but it's great for doing repairs or for stuff that you want to have a harder corner on. It doesn't shrink, and it's very hard. So you use this on your outside corner beads, and you would use this on any repairs. So what we'll do is I'll mix up some really quickly, and we'll give that a shot. Good. Alrighty, so we've mixed up some 45. You can put it whatever consistency you want, but you don't want it too thick because you won't be able to feather it out. So I like to do a nice even thing. If it holds up, it's good. When you're mixing it, you just can't mix it up and then put it on, because what it'll do is it's chemically reactive to water, so it'll start setting off right in your hock. So you want to let that set up for 4 or 5 minutes and then mix it again. Alrighty, take my little block. Remember that little block I cut right there? What I do is I take some sheetrock and I smudge it into the hole somewhat. Get all the sides in there. You want to make sure you got lots of compound in there. Just smudge her in best you can. Don't be shy with it. It's cheap. Right? Cheap stuff. I sometimes like to butter this one because this is in a real bad spot, being on the ceiling. So I would just put a little bit on here too. Because if you don't, when the tape's dry, it'll bubble out. So you take that, stick her in that little hole right there, and then just peel that back. Voila. Tape, repaired and boarded. No backers, no nothing. Squeeze it out nicely like you would every other tape. Fix the other hole later there. There you go. And what I do is I do a real quick coat right away too with a bigger. You can use a knife for this. Just nice even coat so that it'll plane out better. There you go. And that's done. That's it. That's it for the repair. A couple more coats and you'll be done. You don't need to use the 45 on the next coat. So also,
fix my mess then, eh?
fix the mess. You'll never see it once it's feathered out.
Yeah.
You can also use this 45. It's good for doing sorting things if you have a bigger hole that you want to fill. I call it pre-filling, somebody else calls it. But if there's a gap, maybe the drywall didn't work out properly, I usually like to take this and then put it in there. Just to pre-fill it. So that way you get a nice sharp corner when you're doing it. It's always best to have the corners somewhat perfect. Because if you don't, what happens, the tape will get sucked into it. So if there's a big hole there or something, you know, sometimes things aren't as straight as you'd like them to be. You just pre-fill it in. And there you go. Even up there if you wanted to get that one. Always put on a little bit on the edge of the knife so you got like a little curl, and then squeeze it into there. Keep it on the edge of the knife. Be able to use it better. Keep this nice and clean. Edge of the knife. There you go. Good enough. That's all you need. Compound to fill that in.
Great.
That's it. So that's a little trick.
We'll show them some more later, eh?
That's right.
They got in tubes.
Next video.
Next one.